I'd like to give it up for Mr. Mark DeLancey.
Check, check. How's everybody doing today? Good, good. I was debating whether or not to start off with a joke real quick or go ahead and just start into my talk. But if everybody's doing good, then we're doing good. I'm doing good, so we're all good. That's not the joke, by the way. I'll just go ahead and start off with the question for you of what is art? It's a very small, infinitesimal word, but it has so much meaning. It is one of other three-letter words, war and God, that have created such emotion, such opinion, such hate and love all around the world that we have. Google uses or defines the word of art as the creative expression or the initiation of human creation with the sole purpose of trying to create beauty or trying to create emotional passion. Think of that for a minute. We'll come back to that aspect of creation and of love and all that whole thing wraps around to show how you are involved in all of that. There are several artists who speak of this concept or this reality in the realm that it passes through you. So to quote Khalil Gibran, or his notion that art, that it doesn't become from you, it actually passes through you. It kind of begs the question whether or not we're all just here transcribing something that is artistic or something that is expressive or creative. But I'm just wondering whether or not it actually passes through you or actually is part of you. So using that analogy, does that make us all travelers or conduits or frontal lobes of the universe, where we are part of something larger, something bigger, something that actually doesn't take us out of the paradigm? So using that expression and using those things, all of us are actually creators. All of us are actually artists in some way, shape, or form. We have jobs. We like what we do, hopefully. So when we do this, we are actually creating an expression, whether it is in what we do, whether it is in how we feel, whether it's how we react with people or interact with people around us. This skin bag we call a human is actually a soul wrapped inside something else. So we are all together, we're all creators, we're all artists in that own sense. Whether we are bakers, mothers, physicians, someone who runs the dollar store. All of these are individual people that have a purpose and have a meaning and that create something in their life. And hopefully art is the derivative of trying to create something bigger of a larger purpose. A good example of this is when we talk about the movie that I saw, Contact, with Jodie Foster. I hope people realize the reference. But what it was is she was chosen by an alien diagram to build this portal to go through into this alternate reality, to become someone that she was trying to be, or to find out her purpose of God versus faith versus reality versus art, or that whole question of what is faith and what is God. So when we took that and she actually got in and fell through the wormhole and actually realized where she was in this alternate universe of reality and who she was. And she crunched down and she looked at the world and she was like, she looks around and she realizes the universe, the potential, the reality of where she was. And she looks and she said, I had no idea, as the tears are welling up in her eyes. She said, I had no idea. I had no idea. They should have sent a poet. A poet. Why not an astronaut, a physicist, a doctor, someone who has the qualifications or the clarification to actually provide something that would be physically what people want to hear? How would a poet create something of a reality that you would want to see. And the truth is that connection is what we're all striving for, that universal frontal lobe connection to the universe of what we are wanting to see and what we are wanting to have inside. Now, I also wanted to ask and talk about another topic of the what is our responsibility as artists. So let's take that another step further and say, what is our responsibility as an artist? Arts are, or should I say the creativity. Creativity actually is the last realm, the last area, the last frontier where we don't have class, we don't have boundaries, there is no political affiliation, there is no bias that's holding us back as an artist. All we have is our passion, our drive inside us. So when we take this passion and take this drive, what is our responsibility to ourselves and to the people around us? First of all, the responsibility to ourselves is to create a better person who you are, obviously, because you need to make your art or whatever you're doing or whatever your medium may be to create a better artistic product. See, when we go into that realm of reality or whatever you want to call it, to where artists flow in and out into creating these realms, they go in, they are going down the rabbit hole. They are the juggernauts. They are the astronauts. They are the creators of the reality that fall through this rabbit hole, find these inspirations, find these things that speak to them in their heart, whether it's your work or whatever the case may be. Find these things, these passions, these illusions of physicalization. Look into this alternate reality, grab it, tease it, tickle it, find it, hold on to this, and drastically pull these things out to give to you as a gift. This is art. This is our responsibility to struggle, to drive, to find that passion of what makes us important inside and what we do every day in our lives. Not just the creative people who call themselves dancers, musicians. It's all of us. All of us have something that go ahead and make us a creative person. Now, our responsibility in that, in doing, and how do we show up every day to make that work? How do we show up in making sure that I'm doing the best possible job I can? There was a small theater company that I came from before I came here. It's up in New Hampshire. It's M&D Productions. I was one of the co-founders that started that organization, I think going on 14 years ago now. And we did a show. We were known for our cutting-edge shows. And I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with the show or the play, How I Learned to Drive. Basically, it is a play about incest. Not an easy subject to deal with. So, but it won many Tony Awards, it won many desktop awards and other awards in the theater community. And it was something that we felt was very prevalent and poignant that needed to be told. So we did the play. Very well done, nothing's lewd or in that way. But we did the show, and we had the audience come in and actually watch the show. There was a sold-out performance, great. At this particular night, we had a talkback. So we're watching the people come in, they sit down, they watch the show. Hard show to watch. I predicted I won the poll, 3 people walked out. But when they watched the show, at the end of the show, we had a talkback. The actors in the audience got to ask questions of the people back and forth. So when we did this, I noticed there was this really old, well, I'm sorry, old is relative is old, 85, 90-year-old woman, literally in her walker, coming up through the audience and sitting down to watch the show. I'm like, oh my God, she's gonna leave. She's not gonna watch this show about incest. She watched, she stayed for the talkback. She got up, stone-faced, no expression whatsoever. She got up, she walked out of the walker, she looked at me and I said, thank you for coming. She left, didn't think anything of it. Oh, wow, great, wonderful, she stayed. Woke up the next morning, went to the mailbox, actually looked inside my mailbox, and as I'm looking, I went, what is this little tiny piece of paper that's folded up into my mailbox? It's not in the mailbox, it's jammed inside the door. So I opened up the letter, and I looked at it, and I went, oh, wow, it's from this elderly woman. So I read it, and it basically went around something like this. We were at your show last night. We really enjoyed the show. Okay, good. We really liked the topic. Strange. All right. So I just wanted to let you know that I really enjoyed the show and will be there to support almost everything you do whenever it's financially possible. Oh, okay, great. But I wanted to let you know when I left, I got a very sick feeling in my stomach. All right? So as I'm driving home, I went to my house and I pulled in the driveway, shut off the car, and decided to walk up to my front steps when all of a sudden it hit me. I'm eagerly reading this letter, and she says, I all of a sudden went up to my front steps and I collapsed. I started to cry. My daughter comes running out of the house asking me, Mom, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's going on? And she looked up at her daughter and she said, that little girl in that play was me. And it struck me, that is why I do what I do. She said, thank you for expressing these opinions, for creating a safe environment for me to go ahead and work through my issues, come to the realization of who I am as an individual, and be able to find and explore these possibilities, no matter how good or how bad these may be, to look outside myself and be able to help other people. She said, thank you for creating such a wonderful opportunity. I will always be there to support you, and I will always be there to watch almost everything whenever I can. I was like, wow. Okay, so I'm on cloud 9. I'm like, this is great. I absolutely love doing what I'm doing. And that's what we need to do, and our responsibility as artists or creative expressions, which we all have, on how do we use that? How do we use these as abundance to create things in our lives that are going to make a difference? How are we going to use these things with each other? And we're not asking for any huge aspect. It's just to be kind, how to do things for individuals, how to do things outside yourself, to look at things in a different perspective. That's all it is. It's something very simple. So when we look at this, artists need to also have the responsibility that we need to not only look outside ourselves, but artists have had this, or creative expressions, people have had this stigma attached to them that they're always got their hand out looking for something. What can the artist give me? We need to make that paradigm shift, especially here in Salisbury. We need to make that shift. Instead of having our hand out to say, what can the community do for me? We have all the abundance here in this audience alone of what we need in Salisbury to make this work. So let's stop the paradigm of what can the community give for me and ask, what can we give to the community? This community is a unique, wonderful organism. I moved here from New Hampshire to be here, to live here, to settle here, because this is where I wanted to be. I've lived all over the world. I'll be turning 53 this year, and this is where I want to be. I want to be part of this. I want this to be my last initiative. I want this to be something that will be my legacy along with the other 3 that I've created. But this is where I want to be. And Salisbury is that organism. It has a heart. It has a brain. It has a skeleton. It has nerves. It has roads. It has buildings. It has businesses. All of these things create an organism in which we need to make sure is healthy. So what can we contribute to this organization to make it healthy? What can we do as individuals to give instead of ask? Now, in that process, I always wanted to make sure that everyone knew that they have the potential to make that happen. So in that potential, I want to be able to let you know that you have that potential as well. Imagine this for a minute, that if there was a performing arts center downtown, much like this, what would that do for the local economy, and what would you contribute to that initiative, that cultural initiative in making that happen? Not only would, let's say that it seats 500 people. Those initiatives of bringing that to the downtown area and creating a healthy organization or an organism here in the Salisbury area, that would make such a change in the paradigm of how artists and creative leaders are looked at. So in that initiative, let's say that there's 500 people in creating how that works. 500 people go to see a show, let's say 2 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon. That's not just $20 a ticket that you go in and you're done. Those are foot traffic that it goes anywhere from 2 to 4 to 6 to 8 hours a day, because now they have to go eat. Now they want to go spend money. Now they want to go and do things downtown. So downtown becomes this hub or vortex for people that actually want to make this happen. So in doing that, it has also been shown that most of the people who are creative thinkers, creative expressions, artists, you, me, everyone, who like to contribute to the community, also prove that they are better voters, they have opinions, they shop more, and they also are people that want to contribute and be part of the social environment around them. So isn't it a better possibility for when you come and contribute to this art and create your own expression? What are you going to walk away with today to show how your cultural initiative will go ahead and affect not only you, but the world around you? Because isn't it better for you to be that trailblazer, be that maverick, be that person that we need to have in this organization, in this town, to be the people that want to contribute and stop asking for people to go ahead and give you something and to you to give something back? So isn't it time for you to feel time to get involved, inspired?